right, guitarists, ready to shake things up. Today, we're diving deep into DADGAD tuning.
It's gonna be fun.
It really is. Like, we're gonna unlock some seriously cool sounds today, and we're drawing all of this from some really interesting articles and forum discussions I found online about this tuning.
Sounds good. I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. So forget standard tuning for a minute. We're all about DADGAD. For anyone who hasn't experimented with alternate tunings before, what is DADGAD tuning, and what's the big deal with it anyway?
Well, standard tuning has that EAG-GBE setup, right?
Yeah.
But with DADGAD, you're tuning your strings from lowest to highest to DADGAD.
GGD80. Okay, I can already hear it in my head a little, and it sounds kind of, I don't know, different, special.
It is special, and you hit the nail on the head. It's perfect for genres like Celtic music, folk, even some really cool fingerstyle stuff.
Yeah, and I'm seeing all over these online discussions about DADGAD that it's super popular with Celtic music. What is it about those droning melodies, those really captivating, almost haunting soundscapes? What is it about DADGAD that just screams Celtic?
It's all about those open strings.
Yeah.
When you tune to DADGAD and you just strum across all 6 strings, you get this DADG4 chord.
Yes, 4.
Right. And that chord, it's neither major nor minor. It sort of floats. And that's huge for creating atmosphere, especially in Celtic music.
It's true, it does. It just has the sound. I mean, when I think of traditional Irish music or anything really that has that kind of Celtic vibe, there's this really strong sense of place, And that DADS4 chord you mentioned, it's it just instantly transports you there.
Totally. And the cool thing about DADGAD is that it's kind of inherently modal, which is perfect for Celtic music because it relies heavily on modes like Dorian and Mixolydian.
Okay, so I actually tried tuning to DADGAD last week just to kind of get in the zone for this deep dive. And even just messing around, playing those open strings, it felt different. Really cool. But how does this whole tuning thing actually change how you play, especially for fingerstyle? One of the things I was reading kept saying that the open strings are almost like having extra fingers on the fretboard.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
You're playing a melody on, say, the high E string, but now the D and A strings are ringing out underneath. It creates this super rich sound.
So each note you play has these sympathetic vibrations happening around it.
Exactly. And that's why it's so perfect for fingerstyle. It just adds this whole other level.
Okay, that makes so much sense. But now, let's get a little geeky for a sec.
Yeah.
What's happening from a music theory perspective? I mean, you mentioned modes, but can you break that down for us a little?
So we talked about those open D strings, right? Those become your drones, your DADGAD. Yeah, like a constant hum underneath the melody. And that drone is essential for modal music. Modes are like scales, but with a different flavor. You've got your Dorian, Mixolydian, Aeolian.
Okay, starting to ring a bell from music theory class.
Well, those modes often sound a bit darker, more mysterious than your typical major or minor scales, and DADGAD just makes them shine through.
It's like the tuning itself is almost tailor-made for those modes. And it makes sense, right? Celtic music often has that kind of, I don't know, almost mystical quality to it. And those modes definitely contribute to that vibe.
100%.
Okay, so let's give our listeners some practical tips here. If someone's listening to this and they're totally inspired, what are some keys that work really well in DADGAD?
Well, D major is the obvious one, right? It's like your home base. But G major is also super accessible. And this is where it gets really cool. And B minor and E minor take on this whole different feel in DADGAD. They have this really haunting, beautiful quality that's really unique.
So you're telling me with this one tuning, we can explore all these different keys, these different modes, and tap into sounds that we might not even be able to access in standard tuning? That's wild. It's like the secret weapon.
It really is. And the best part is it makes you think about chords and melody in a whole new way.
So to everyone listening, if you've ever felt limited by standard tuning, even a little, DADGAD is your ticket to a whole new world on the guitar.
It's true. Don't be afraid to experiment. You won't regret it.
I love that. And that is the sound of possibilities opening up. So go explore DADGAD. You might just surprise yourself with what you discover.